Hello everyone, we are going to be discussing how to remove the gauges off of a 2005 to 2000 and maybe 12 Porsche Cayman S or Boxster S. So the first thing we're going to do is grab a T10 Torx, and there are going to be two holes under your steering wheel right here, one right here, one right here. Also, first thing you want to do is grab this lever and pretty much pull your wheel all the way down and pull it all the way out as far as possible. I have a quick release wheel, so I'm going to remove that just for ease of the video here. So put this up in here and unscrew these and undo these two screws. Okay, and now that these two screws are out, this is about what they look like right here. We are going to lift up on this seam right here. Okay, we're gonna get a little fingernail in there. Pull up, just like this. And at this point, okay, so if you pull on this piece, it will detach from here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 little tabs that go into this right here. So we disconnected this right now. All right, at this point, you can go and take this flap, and you're gonna see these two screws underneath the flap here. They're going to be, see it right there? Okay, that's going to be a T20. So you're going to go ahead and remove those two screws right now. This is the size of that T20 screw that came out of the back of that leather flap. And we're just going to go pry on this plastic piece right here. You can see a little bit that there's these like tabs right there. Kind of hold it in place. I'll show you with the part off the car. All right, so just a lot of force pulling this thing out. So let me show you what the tricks are here. So you're gonna have these tabs right here are gonna slide into here, but there's a little detent right here, okay? So you actually wanna pull, this is like a foam actually. Pull this foam down, and there's this little tooth right here on both sides. This little tooth right here, that little tooth, he sits in there. And so you kind of want to like pry up on this while pulling out. Requires a lot of force, but yeah, that's let's kind of see how this goes back in. So pretty much I would just have to push this straight in, and those teeth will lock into place there. So that's how you remove that trick. I kind of lifted up this cover right here. At this point, we can start to work this gauge cluster out here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and shimmy this out. Okay, so with some force, I pretty much tilted up and pulled out. We've now exposed this electrical connector right here, and now we're gonna unplug this. So the way you unclip this connector is you're gonna go take this black part and pull up on it, okay? And that's gonna let you to loosen it and pop it straight out. I went ahead and removed this instrument surround here. I just wanna test out my new gauge cluster, turn the car on, make sure it all works before I put it all back together. So I just wanna remove all this stuff here. And just so you can see the back of the gauge cluster, I put the shroud back on. You're gonna have this clip right here, this clip right here holding in place, in addition to these two screws. That's gonna help get this the gauge cluster out from the dash. Just so you're all aware, the reason why I'm doing this is I wanna switch to a black gauge. My stock cluster here, this car used to be a Tiptronic. You can see the automatic right here, but I did a manual conversion on it. And this is actually a base Cayman gauge cluster. So this goes to 175. The Cayman S goes to 190. I have a Cayman S here, but you know, when am I ever going to go above 175? So I don't really care about that. So I'll let you guys know if like swapping from a Tiptronic Cayman S to a base Cayman manual dash even works. We're about to find out together. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put these two screws back in to get the dash kind of in place, turn the car on, see what air meshes, if any, we have on. You also see that without this this back Porsche with the green stickers on there, this gauge cluster, even when you go to screw it in, it will still rock around. You need those two clips to clip into place to keep it upright. So one issue I've already noticed on this car is that when you swap gauges, the car this came off of, it will display that mileage on the car. So you will need some computer rewriting software to take care of that. So we're gonna see if the car even turns on though. And let's go from there. So far so good. Everything looks fine. No issues at all. I'm gonna go drive around the block and tell you what happens. All right, so I went for a test drive, and the only thing that I'm gonna notice that's different is the mileage doesn't carry over from the last odometer. But one thing I will note that for those who've done a manual conversion and have swapped in a manual dash air or gauge, is that the Tiptronic emergency error does not appear at all. So that will solve that issue for you in case you have that. Right now, I'm gonna work on adjusting the mileage with my Foxwell scanner here. I'm making a video on that. Hope this helps somebody out. Cheers. And just to recap, for anyone trying to remove their gauge cluster, do not try to pry this off. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws that hold this entire shroud in place. This is all one piece. This will not come off if you try to pry up. So this is all one piece. Do not try to pry this off. You will fail and break this unit. You can see I tried to do that a little bit right there and I had a little crack. Okay, so just learn from my mistakes and do not, see that big crack right there? Do not try to pry that off. You have to go from these 2 screws under here, and the gauge cluster pulls out. There's this connector on the side here. This little latch right here will undo it for you. So we're gonna go install everything back in place. All right, you can see we just slid this right back in. We're gonna put these 2 screws in here and then start buttoning this back up. All right, so then we just snap everything back in place here. We put the 2 screws under the steering wheel right here and right here, and we're good to go. The reason why I swapped out my cluster here is because my center display is actually all burnt out, and an LCD was like maybe $300 for an LCD. It takes the hull apart, whereas I got this used cluster here for around 200 bucks on eBay. So I would say this is a job well done. I also kind of like the look of the black better. My Spider up there has the black and Carrera has the white anyways, but yeah, I'd recommend putting this shield in, all this stuff back in. It helps with the reflection back onto these black gauges. But yeah, hope this helps somebody out. All the best. See ya.